See headlines overnight, like a 20% drop in expected supply now for Pfizer vaccines in Iowa. How are you planning? What are you hearing? And what is the reason you're hearing for potential change in dosages?
Good morning. Good to be with you. Well, I mean, it's really concerning news, but we don't know exactly what it means to us. What we do know on the front lines is that at the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, we received one Pfizer batch earlier this week with 975 doses, and we can report that we concluded vaccinating 975 people yesterday. And to be perfectly honest, if we needed to vaccinate double or triple that amount in the last few days, we could have. So really the availability of vaccine was really our rate limiting step. And I'm the kind of organization that has to think about the remaining healthcare workers. So 975 only represent under a tenth of the nearly 10,000 healthcare workers we have here on the front lines at UI Healthcare. And so we are very interested in what the future holds, but there are so many scenarios. So we are trying not to draw any further conclusions because with the impending hopeful emergency use authorization of Moderna, the real question that you were just discussing is really what we're thinking about is what is this really going to mean if there's a 30% reduction in Pfizer vaccine distribution if that same number is replaced by Moderna. The other piece of this is that certain hospitals are able to administer and store the Pfizer vaccine. Moderna can be applied to a much broader group because it doesn't require such cold temperatures for storage.
Yeah. So in light of that comment you just made right there, how is your system preparing to handle two different vaccines that have two different storage capabilities?
It's actually, we feel very confident that it should be manageable. The Moderna vaccine, just by its nature, is just going to be a little bit easier on the system. So the Pfizer one, just in terms of the process, not just of storing, but reconstituting, et cetera, has been a little bit more of a challenge, but nothing we can't handle. To get 1,000 people done in just a few days, or even if we had 3,000 people that we needed to get done in a few days, we feel pretty confident we could do it.
Suresh, yesterday we had on a hospital administrator from Alabama who surprised me by saying that when they surveyed their workers, they found only 60% were ready to take the vaccine immediately. Are you finding any resistance among your frontline personnel in terms of actually taking the vaccine?
But compared to our peers, we're doing a little bit better. Because our University of Iowa Healthcare has had Stan Perlman as a researcher who's been doing coronavirus research for decades. So we have Pat Winokur, who actually led the clinical trials for Pfizer vaccine at our organization and had hundreds of patients enrolled in that trial. I think our staff has been a lot more open to taking the vaccine, has been able to review more of the data and the personal experience of what's happened. We do have resistance. So we have started a campaign for the last several weeks. We did a recent survey. It covered about 80% of our staff responded. And of that, 90% were definitely interested in getting the vaccine right now. And out of the 10%, we think that even the number could have been potentially higher if not for the fact that perhaps some of those folks said they weren't interested because they had contracted COVID in the last 90 days or in the last 180 days.
Yeah. Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.